guard for St. Francis picks up the first foul. Indiana Tech will key it from underneath the hoop. St. Francis playing a zone on the inbounds play. We got 4 corner out for Indiana Tech. And number 33, Rex Carroll keys it in.
Now comes substitutions for St. Francis. Number 44, Todd Galloway. He's a 6'5" junior, and also Dan Kowicki is back in there.
Indiana Tech's making the drives at hoop. They're really out of control. St. Francis is trying to fast break, but it's more of a control than anything else. And Norris is in there again, dumps it off. Too hard there from, look at it. Who put that up there? Bowen? And traveling
on Kowicki. Or traveling on Clafter.
They got a little excited down there. They had it all wrapped up, couldn't put it away. 16 for Indiana Tech, 18 for St. Francis College Cougars. They're in the lead right now, and there's 11.5 minutes to go in the first half. Glad you could join us here on College Access Channel 6. This is Randy Yoder and Tony Davis giving you the play-by-play of the first game here, Game 1 of the Tip-Off Classic, Tip-Off Tournament here at IPFW. Second game will be between IPFW, and Huntington College. The loser of this game, the loser of the second game will play in a consolation game tomorrow night. And the championship game will follow that one. Those games tomorrow will be at 6 and 8 o'clock, as well as they are this evening.
Kowicki's back in, Randy, for Todd Galloway. It's probably just needed a little rest there after being poked in the eye.
Okay, Bowen's bringing the ball up the floor. Nominal pressure by Indiana Tech. And it's Matt Klaus is pressuring. Out to Norris on the wing. Feeds it inside. Oh, I don't know about that one. Looked like it went off Indiana Tech after the second one.
Looked real close to me too, Randy.
But what do I know? I wear glasses just like the referee. So we're going to have to charge that turnover to Dan Clafner, who lost the pass from Norris. He had it in there, and he lost it. Substitution now for Indiana Tech. Number 42, Victor Bush, is out of the game. And I think number 34, Mark McGraw, has come in to replace him. As usual, Matt Klaus brings the ball up the floor for Indiana Tech. The Warriors' first game this season, first chance they've been out. They started here at the Classic. The Cougars have had 2 games now. They're 0-2. Down low post, number 24, Eric Ellis spins, puts it in, ties the game at 18 with 10 minutes to go in the game. St. Francis comes down, sets up against a man-to-man defense by Indiana Tech. Feed inside. Oh, block. Good block. Number 24, Eric Ellis, blocks that ball. And Indiana Tech throws it away on the fast break. Now St. Francis missed a bullet, dodged a bullet on that one. Okay, I'm going to quickly try and update the lineups for you here for St. Francis. Number 54, Dan Clafner, is passing the ball inbounds. Larry Land just came in. 33, Larry Land's come in the game. Dan Kowicki now has the ball. He's playing forward. Brett Norris, of course, is at 35, feeds it underneath. There's a travel by Kowicki. Let's see, who do we forget there? Number 20. Who's in? Number 20 in there? I can't really see.
That's John Tudor.
Yeah, John Tudor's in for St. Francis. For Indiana Tech, there's a couple substitutions. Number 11, Jason Klein, giving Matt Klaus a blow. He's keying the offense right now. Passes it down to Ellis. Long over the top cross-court pass, 33. And knocked out of bounds on that pass by Kowicki. Okay, setting the rest of the offense for Indiana Tech. Number 33 is Rex Carroll. Number 45, Scott Wilder. And number 34, Mark McGraw. Okay, Indiana resets the offense. Klein at the top of the key. Takes it down the middle.
Jason's a freshman from Fort Wayne, son of Coach Dan Klein.
15-footer by Eric Ellis. Indiana Tech takes the lead for about the 3rd time in the game. St. Francis turns the ball over. Pretty poor communication there between Clafner and Land.
And we have another substitution for St. Francis Cougars, number 25, Joe Maharan, who's a sophomore from Indianapolis, Scena Memorial High School in Indianapolis. Averages 7.5 a game.
Once again, Indiana Tech's taking it down the baseline. St. Francis giving away. They dodge a bullet there as Clafner gets a rebound. Kind of a controlled fast break here. Feed over to the wing. 31, Kowicki takes it in, and he's fouled.
Dan Kwicki's one of the better free throw shooters on the St. Francis team. He's averaging 83.3 from the free throw line. Randy He is 13 out of 16 so far this season.
That foul was on Jason Klein, number 11. That's his first. Dan Kwicki at the line, shooting 2. And the first one isn't even close.
Well, it never seems to fail, Randy. You give them their free throw percentage and you jinx them.
Yeah. I'm not going to take the rap for that one. Kwicki trying to split the pair, and he does. It's 5 points for Kwicki now in the game.
20 to 19.
Okay, we're halfway through the first half. Indiana Tech setting up their normal offense, working the wings, feeding underneath. There's a backdoor over the top. Mark McGraw on the easy bunny. And right off the bat, after the following the basket, Indiana Tech tries to press. Foul picked up by Eric Ellis.
That's his first.
St. Francis in the bonus. That's the 7th team foul. St. Francis now going in the bonus, and Larry Land will be shooting the 1-and-1. Well, it looks like both teams are trying to execute what we were told about at the beginning of the game, Tony. Both coaches said that they wanted to do this, and St. Francis is going to emphasize their ball handling, control offense, and Indiana Tech's going to run. Well, there's a first shot hit by Kwicki. That had a lot of touch on it. Almost knocked the backboard down, but still goes in. I guess they all count.
Larry Land is a freshman. He's from Cincinnati, Ohio. Jim Holstein's used him sparingly thus far this year, but they seem to feel that Larry's going to have a lot of playing time in his 4 years at St. Francis.
I don't know Larry very well. I don't want to tease him, but when you say Larry Land, it sounds like something, you know, from a cartoon show. Welcome to Larry Land. Trying to make 2, and he hits both of them. So St. Francis makes good on the first bonus situation, 1-on-1, and they're down by 1, 22-21 with 9 minutes to go in the game. St. Francis puts the pressure on. Indiana Tech gets it across, breaks it, gets it down low, 34, misses. McGraw misses. Follow up by Scott Wilder, makes it on the follow-up tip. St. Francis brings the ball down really quick.
John Tudor back in the game for St. Francis.
St. Francis passing the ball fairly well, working around, trying to find the open shot. There it was.
It's Larry Land.
St. Francis is trying to run an overload, Tony, on the one side, and then if they pass fast enough to get it on, they can isolate one-on-one, and Land took it in and made it work. It's similar to the offense that Indiana Tech's running down here, trying to do the same thing. That's a charge. Rick Rutland picks up the offensive foul. Charged into Dan Klaffner. Dan got away with one on that one. He was still moving, but there might have been an elbow or something thrown in there by Rutland. One thing's for sure, Indiana Tech is definitely trying to take the ball down the baseline on both sides of St. Francis and work their big men. I think they've seen St. Francis. They do have the advantage that St. Francis has played 2 games already, and I think they've seen their big men have gotten in foul trouble in both games. Indiana's got a zone press on. It's a 2-2-1. Klaffner keys it in to Land. It's working up the side, being cautious, stops.
The trap.
Kicks it over. There's an open man underneath. And that's the way.
And there's 2.
That's the way you break a press. That's the way to break a press, Tony.
That's 7 for Kwicki.
You pass the ball and get it down there. Land almost got in trouble here in the corner.
St. Francis putting on a little pressure of their own.
But Klein handles the ball. He's back in control. Takes it through the middle.
Nice dish.
Good assist for Klein to Wilder. Wilder took a little half step there, got it in, but we won't count. He's a big man. He's got big legs. St. Francis works in the middle. Little jump hook shot. Good by Dan Klaffner. Okay, scores 27-26. St. Francis Cougars ahead with 7:30 left to go in the game. Lead's been shifting about 4 or 5 times now. It's not been more than 2 points either way. St. Francis just reclaimed the lead after about the last 2 minutes with Indiana Tech in. Spin move by 45. Scott Wilder puts in the easy bunny from 3 points. St. Francis back in their offense. Down low to Larry Land, working a baseline, looking for somebody in the middle. Baseline comes open, drives in. Oh. Land gets fouled by 34 for Indiana Tech, Mark McGraw. McGraw's a little out of control there, Tony. If he'd come in a little more control, he would have trapped Land. He had nowhere to go. There were 3 men in there on the triple team down low. St. Francis now in the bonus. The second time they've been in the line of bonus. Couple substitutions for Indiana Tech.
Tim Hose, Victor Bush back in the game for Indiana Tech as Larry Land steps up to the line.
Larry Land, the lefty, huh? Shooting the first end of a 1-and-1. And he cans that one. Larry's now 3 for 3 at the foul line. That's a good sign for St. Francis.
5 points.
Of course,
excellent.
It's the second half which hurt St. Francis in their last 2 games. They're 0-2. They've missed a lot of key foul shots at the end of the game and kind of lost their poise. We'll see how that goes after 3. Trying to make it a pair. And off the rim, and the rebound's taken down by Tim Hose. Indiana Tech brings it up. Jason Klein slows it down, gets a play from his coach, brings it across the timeline. Tie game now, 28-28 between Indiana Tech Warriors and the St. Francis College Cougars here in Game 1 of the tip-off tournament at IPFW. Indiana Tech working around, long 3-point shot, way off the mark. Grabbed the back of the iron on that one. Rebound taken by number 25, Joe Maheron. Just in the game for St. Francis. Joe working the ball. Man-to-man defense by Indiana Tech. They've been in a man-to-man the whole game. Dan Klawicki drives the baseline, puts up a left-handed foul. Well, St. Francis has got Indiana Tech where they want them. Tony, they've got them in the bonus. They had them in the bonus halfway through the first half, and they're going to the charity stripe, and they're taking it to the line. Trying to drive the baseline, get it in there.
We got a timeout. St. Francis.
Timeout with 6:28 in the first half. The score, 28 for St. Francis College Cougars and 28 for the Indiana Technical Warriors. I want you to stay tuned for Game 2. Following this one, 8 o'clock, Huntington College will play the Indiana Purdue at Fort Wayne Mastodons. That game will immediately follow this game right here on College Access Channel 6. Here we are in Game 1 right now. I'm Randy Yoder, and I'm with Tony Davis, the Sports Information Director at St. Francis College. And Tony, we've seen a pretty good game so far. This is the first time out taken. Tie game. Both teams are trying to execute their strengths. St. Francis is slowing the ball down, trying to drive inside and exploit the foul trouble that Indiana Tech's in here in the first half. And Indiana's got an up-tempo game and trying to take the baseline as well.
I think some of the keys to the game, as we spoke earlier, St. Francis has to stay out of foul trouble. They've got to move their feet on defense. You've got to have a ball control offense. Got to touch the ball 3 or 4 times. On the other hand, Indiana Tech has to rebound, stay with that pressure defense, and run.
Dan Klawicki is at the foul line. He'll be shooting, I think he's did 2 shots here. I think he was fouled before the timeout on the drive. Dan hits the first one. Dan now has 8 points for the game, and he's 4 for 5 from the free throw line. Trying to make both of them here. Give St. Francis a 2-point lead. Rolls off. Rebound taken down by Tim Hose, who gives the ball back to Rick Rutland, who's back in the game. Rick's a senior, 6-foot senior, plays guard. He's from Indianapolis, and he's one of the team leaders and sets the offense for Indiana Tech. Indiana doing a lot of picking and rolling down low and driving to the middle. And Rick Rutland, senior guard, puts it in.
That's 6 for Rutland. And another timeout called by St. Francis as they put on that press.
Okay, at 6:05 in the first half, Indiana Tech reclaims the lead. This is about the 9th lead shift we've had tonight, Tony. Indiana Tech's ahead 30-29.
Jim Holstein probably didn't like what he saw there with Richard Rutland. One of the things they tried to do is contain him. He has 6 points right now. Last year, he led the Warriors with an average of 21.1, 3.7 rebounds per game. Shot 42% from the three-point area and about 47% from the field. So he's a good ball player, and Jim Holstein was very, very concerned about Mr. Rutland. And I think that's probably the reason why he called that timeout.
Okay, after the timeout, St. Francis sends out Norris, Klaffner, Tudor, Maheron, and Klawicki. And they break the press. Indiana Tech just showed the press and then falls back. They pick up their man-to-man. They've been playing this the whole game. St. Francis working their offense. They're working their swing offense. Jim Holstein calls it. It's mostly pick and roll and go to the hoop. They're overloading one side and open up driving lanes, trying to exploit.
And Tudor went down the line, stepped on the line. They said he was out.
And both players are trying to shake off a load injury. I think Tudor took a knee there from Hose, and Hose's knee is sore, and Tudor's shaking and trying to walk that off too. Tim Hose comes out of the game, and he's replaced by Scott Wilder, who's
Scott Wilder's had a very good first half, Randy. He's at 8 points right now. He's got about 4 or 5 rebounds.
Indiana Tech still has the lead by 1, 30-29. Spin move at the baseline by Wilder is good, and they increase their lead to 3. This is the biggest lead of the ball game for either team. Indiana Tech 32, St. Francis College 29. Tudor setting up the offense, brings it down, feeds it to Norris. Norris has been pretty quiet here lately. Earlier in the game, Norris was taking control, driving the hoop, and trying to get the offense going for St. Francis, and he hasn't had his hands on the ball very much lately.
Brett's recovering from the flu. In the Indiana Wesleyan game on Tuesday evening, he was ill, and he's still feeling some of the effects. And Jim Holstein's got to move him in and out of the lineup.
Wilder picked up the foul there. He fouled Klaffner.
That's 2 on Wilder.
And Wilder stays in the game. First shot's good by Klaffner. That's his first free throw tonight. He's 1 for 1 from the line. Now the second one. See how he does. St. Francis been shooting pretty good from the line that time. And he hits both of them.
Jim Holstein worked on it all week this week. The concern that we have, or that Jim Holstein had, was giving up free throws. The opposition to St. Francis College has been averaging in 2 games. He's been giving up 35 points a game on the line. Indiana Wesleyan shot 44 free throws. Foul, I think it's on number 20, John Tudor.
Yeah. Rex Carroll, senior forward for Indiana Tech, drove into the key using his left hand. He's fouled on the shot. He almost got the bonus, but it bounced off. So he'll be the line tonight for the first time. And he has 2 shots. And Carroll cans the first one. Said before, Carroll's a 6'3" forward from Naples, Florida. And he's a senior for Indiana Tech. So one thing Indiana Tech has over St. Francis today, Tony, is they've got more experience. He misses the second one, and a rebound slapped away by Victor Bush, and Indiana Tech restarts their offense. So they've got the bonus there. St. Francis tips the ball, steal, lost it. Picked up. Good hands there by Wilder, picking up the loose ball and getting the bunny. Indiana Tech now leads 35-31, and 4-point lead over St. Francis College. Klawicki drives the baseline and gooses the ball. It comes up a little short. Indiana Tech right back down like they've been doing. Holstein looks like he wants a timeout here pretty soon. Indiana Tech starting to get some rhythm, picking it up.
That was Victor Bush. That's 4 for Bush.
John Tudor trying to break the press, gets it across. Looks like St. Francis is going to slow the ball down a little. Morris travels. Big time.
St. Francis has been real good this year so far, Randy, about hanging on to the ball. Last year, they averaged around 18 turnovers a game. On their first 2 games, they've cut that down to about 10 a game. Jim Holstein really has been working on them, trying to take care of the ball.
Mike Bowen comes back in the game replacing Tudor. Give Tudor a little rest there. He looked a little rattled last time down the floor and turned the ball over. He didn't turn the ball over. The travel was on Norris, but on the coming up the floor on the press, he was a little rattled. He almost didn't get the ball across.
So that'll move
37
Norris to the back row.
Sorry, Tony. 37-31 favor of Indiana Tech. A little lob pass over the shoulder there to Klaus. Didn't work. Lost the ball out of bounds. St. Francis's ball. 3:53 to go in the first half. St. Francis Cougars down by 6 to the Indiana Technical Warriors. Dan Klaffner will be taking the ball out of bounds.
Mike Bowen.
And Mike Bowen's bringing the ball up the floor. Man-to-man pressure by Indiana Tech's kind of token pressure. No problem there. St. Francis sets their offense. Indiana Tech still in the man. Morris feeds in. There it is. Clafner, little 2-foot layup.
That's 8 for Clafter.
4-point lead now for Indiana Tech. 16-foot shot, no good by Rutland. Rebound by St. Francis out to Norris. 3-on-1 here. Oh, they closed in. Oh, good follow, good follow.
And follow-up by Dan Kowicki.
Dan Klawicki off the Brett Norris miss.
It's 10 for Kowicki.
St. Francis now closes the lead to 2. They're down 2 points, 37-34. 3 minutes to go in the first half. Rick Rutland passes to Klaus. Drives in, handle line lane. Oh, there's a block and a follow-up by Larry Land. Oh, that's Larry Land. That's for St. Francis. I'm sorry. Rex Carroll got the follow-up on that.
That's 7 for Carroll.
And Klaus got poked in the eye on that drive. Well, I think Mr. Rutland kind of said something he shouldn't have said. He got poked in the eye on that drive, and he didn't appreciate it too well, and I'm sure he said something that he shouldn't say to the referee. Got his attention, that's for sure. Brett Morris will shoot the technical. 2-shot technical. Missed the first one. Norris for the season is shooting 66% from the free throw line. He's not the best free throw shooter this season so far for St. Francis, but I think Coach Holstein puts him there because Brett's the heart and soul of this team. He's a gutsy guy, and they put him up here. He splits the pair of the technical, and St. Francis is down again by 3 points, and they get the ball out at half court on the technical.
And we have a substitution, Randy. In for Clafter is number 34, John Miller.
That was close, almost over and back there, almost a backcourt violation.
Bowen had it taken away from him by number 24, Ellis.
Batting the ball around down there. Ellis put up the first shot, a couple shots of rebound, didn't get it. Norris with a nice look. Oh, that's a nice pass. Brett Norris with a beautiful pass. Looked one way and threw it right through the key down the other. And the foul to stop the easy layup. Probably a good foul.
Personal foul on Indiana Tech number 20, Matt Claus, his second personal foul.
Matt Klaus picks
and
up
at
the
line,
foul.
number 25, Joe Maheron.
Number 25.
Joe's a 6'3" sophomore from Indianapolis, Randy, majoring in business.
I'm not even going to try and pronounce the high school because I'm not from around here.
Cecina.
Oh, then now I know. Give me a school in Ohio, I'll tell you what it is. You know, Indiana, I'm still learning. 2 shots, and he bounces it off the back iron on the first one. 39-36, Indiana Tech in the lead. 2:30 left to go in the first half. Indiana Tech has yet to get into the bonus. St. Francis has been in the bonus for about the last 8 minutes. And Maheron splits the pair. 2-point lead now for Indiana Tech. And Jason Klein's back in the game, keying the offense. Pass in, come out. Oh, there's a shot. Norris controls the rebound. Number 24 trying to get the reach. Eric Ellis picks up the foul. It's a dumb foul back there.
That's
no
his
sense in
second,
reaching.
Randy.
You're not going to steal the ball on Norris. I think he's got to learn that real fast.
Eric Ellis, his second personal foul.
Well, I'll tell you, Tony, St. Francis, the reason they're in this game is they've been going the foul line, and they've been doing fairly well there. Otherwise, they could be in a lot of trouble right here in the first half. Instead, they're only down 2.
Norris is 3 for 4 from the line tonight so far, Randy, as he puts the first one up, and he missed it.
We call that the ice cream scoop back in high school, just kind of right in and out of that rim, didn't make her. Brett will try and split the pair here and close the lead to 1 for St. Francis. And he does. It's Indiana Tech now, 2 minutes to go in the first half. 39, St. Francis College, 38. Klein brings the ball up, sets the offense. Indiana's now running a 2-guard offense without the point guard. And Eric Ellis just got away with a travel as he dragged his foot, but I guess that's NBA basketball for you. Oh, nice pass.
Nice pass inside.
Nice pass.
Carroll.
Rex Carroll on the feed, didn't even bring it down. Wonderful play. That's what they were.
Carroll.
St. Francis turns the ball over. Ball saved by Carroll out of bounds. And Indiana Tech will bring the ball up the floor with 1:30 left in the game.
One of the things that St. Francis seems to have done thus far, Randy, is they've been able to control the offense. They've been able to control the tempo of this game.
And Indiana Tech just returned a favor and threw the ball out of bounds. Victor Bush said, I'm going this way. Jason Klein said, I'll throw it this way. And nearly the two never met there.
In for St. Francis now is number 33, Larry Land, returning to the lineup. Larry's had a pretty good game, scored 5 points thus far.
Mike Bowen's back in the game, too. He hasn't been very long. He just returned. St. Francis setting up the offense. Norris, moonshot, missed it. Rebound by Carroll. And Indiana setting it up. Haven't been too many three-point shots taken tonight, Tony. I guess only the second one of the game. Bowen drives the length of the floor, has the ball slapped away. He saves it. Larry Land on the wing, takes it back out, sets it up. Plenty of time on the shot clock. 30 seconds left in the shot clock. 50 seconds left in the game. St. Francis working the offense. Rookie drives in, draws a foul. Ooh, just fell off. I thought it was going to stick up there for a minute. We'd have to send you down and jump up and get it.
Well, you know I would, Randy.
Yeah. Get you a ladder and a pogo stick, and we'll get you up there.
His second personal foul.
Kulwicki will go to the line. Okay, if Kulwicki makes both of these, he can bring the game back to within 1 point. There's 44 seconds left in the first half. It's been an exciting first half, back and forth up the floor. Both teams playing fairly well. Kulwicki hits the first end of the 1-and-1.
Kulwicki's been a pleasant surprise for the Cougars this year. He's averaging 14.4 a game over the first 2 games of the season. Last year, he averaged a little over 4 points a game. Made it both.
St. Francis got 2 left-handers on their team, don't they? Land and Kulwicki, do they? Okay, the score is now 41 for Indiana Tech, 40 for St. Francis. Indiana almost throws the ball away against the press for St. Francis, but they save it. They bring it out, set it up. 30 seconds left in the half. Shot clock is off, so Indiana can sit on the ball for the half, get the final shot. Looks like that's what they're going to try and do. They're running the offense. St. Francis is the man-to-man. Steal by Kulwicki to Norris. Brings it down with 17 seconds. Norris bringing it in, takes it in, feed, foul, no shot. Yeah, Miller slipped in the game on us there.
Personal foul on St. Francis, number 35, Brett Norris.
They called an offensive foul on Brett Norris on the charge after the pass. And Bress isn't real happy, and Jim Holstein's off his chair and not pleased at that at all. First real controversial call, or one that's got any kind of grief from either coach. So Indiana Tech has last 10 seconds. And they call a blocking foul on Kulwicki.
That's his first.
And Indiana Tech is finally in the bonus.
And that's not what Jim Holstein wanted, as he sends Mike Reinbold into the game for Brett Norris.
Well, Brett's a little hot from that charge, and he can't have a temper if he puts his mind to it, or when he doesn't put his mind to it again. Klein's on the line. This is his first time to the foul line this evening. 1-and-1, hits the first one. Gives Indiana Tech a 2-point lead. 9 seconds to go in the first half. 42 for Indiana Tech, 40 for St. Francis College.
I think you'd expect some pressure if he makes this shot, Randy.
He doesn't. There's a rebound taken down. Long pass out, stolen by Ellis. Deep shot from nowhere. Oh, that should have been goaltending there. Offensive goaltending.
Basket doesn't count.
Basket does not count.
Half, Indiana Tech leading 42-40.
At the end of the first half, Indiana Tech 42, St. Francis College 40.
We have an exciting game on our hands here this evening, Randy.
Well, I've seen some shift in the first half, Tony, while you're working up the statistics. We'll get those to you as soon as we can, let you know who scored what. I'm sure mom and dad are out there listening someplace. Want to know how their sons or daughters did if they're not here. What we saw in the first half, St. Francis pretty much took control. There was never more than a 2-point lead for the first 10 minutes of the ball game. St. Francis College looked like they had control at the start. And Brett Norris was very active in either scoring or setting up his teammates to take control for St. Francis College. Indiana Tech ran the ball up the floor, well worked their offense, did a lot of backdoor baseline work. and so did St. Francis. But the thing that kept St. Francis in the first half was the foul trouble. They were in the bonus situation, a 1-on-1 situation, at almost 10 minutes left to go in the first half. And Tony, I see you going crazy there in statistics. I forgot to bring that calculator. Guess I have to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, the score at halftime here at the Indiana-Purdue Fort Wayne Tip-Off Tournament is Indiana Tech Warriors 42, St. Francis College Cougars 40. Second game following this one here on College Access Channel 6 here at IPFW is between the Huntington College basketball team, and I have still to find out what their nickname is. I don't know what that is, and the Indiana-Purdue Fort Wayne Mastodons.
Now I have some, let's run down some statistics for the first half for Indiana Tech. Matt Klaus, number 20, has 4 points and 2 fouls. Rick Rutland, their senior and their leader, right now has 6 points and a foul. Jim Holstein has to be pleased with the defensive effort on Rick Rutland right now. Jim Jones didn't play didn't play in the first half, and Eric Ellis has 4 points and 2 fouls. Number 32, Kerry Coyne, hadn't played yet in the first half. Rex Carroll, the senior, has 9 points, and he hasn't made a foul yet. Number 34, Mark McGraw, has 2 points and a foul. Number 40, Kenny Bush, didn't play in the first half, number 40, Kenny Lewis, didn't play in the first half. Victor Bush most definitely played in the first half, and he scored 4 points and picked up 2 fouls. Tim Hose, the academic All-American, picked up a foul in the first half. And the big man, the 6'9", Scott Wilder, has 12 points and has 2 fouls. For the St. Francis Cougars, number 3, Mike Reinbold, got into the game in the very much at the end of the first half. Number 14, Brian Mason, didn't play. Number 15, Mike Bowen, had 2 points and picked up 1 foul. Number 20, John Tudor, picked up 1 foul in the first half. Number 25, Joe Maheron, picked up 1 point and 1 foul in the first half. Number 31, Dan Kowicki, picked up 12 points, 6 from the free throw line for 12 points and 3 out of 5 for the field. He had 1 foul. Larry Land, the freshman, came in and did a good job for Jim Holstein's Cougars and picked up 5 points. Number 34, John Miller, didn't score in the first half. Their team leader, Brett Norris, picked up 10 points with 3 field goals and 4 free throws. Todd Galloway didn't play, as didn't Jim Kozakiewicz, and the big man, Dan Clafter, had 8 points on 3 field goals and 2 free throws. He also picked up a foul.
Okay, Tony, with the score at halftime, Indiana Tech 42 and St. Francis College 40, we've got a little halftime feature for you here during the halftime. It's called Commitment to Quality. It's a video about the state of education here in fine Hoosier State of Indiana. So, Bernie, without any further ado, it's all yours.
From Terre Haute to Richmond, from the shores of Lake Michigan to the banks of the Ohio River, Indiana is a place filled with tradition, achievement, and promise. Those characteristics are also reflected in the state's colleges and universities, in the quality of Indiana's system of higher education. But a shadow is moving over our campuses, and unless we move quickly, that shadow could become a dark cloud hanging over the state for many years. In an unprecedented move, the presidents of Ball State, Indiana State, Indiana University, Ivy Tech, Purdue, Southern Indiana, and Vincennes.
The global market share, United's Fovea Systems has already been linked up with Europe's Galileo system.
Indiana higher education. For many Hoosiers, it evokes a sense of pride and security, knowing that higher education contributes to our growth and prosperity. But the institutions themselves must focus on the demands of the future instead of their present accomplishments. The leaders of our colleges and universities have outlined several issues that must be addressed. If left unattended, they will affect the success of higher education in Indiana.
The time has passed when a college or university can be all things to all people. Through foresight and planning, Indiana's colleges and universities have developed distinct and yet compatible missions. Thus, we have an efficient and coordinated system of higher education.
The people of Indiana need not look outside the state for quality higher education. Our institutions offer top-ranked undergraduate study in both 2-year and 4-year programs, excellent graduate education and research facilities, and job and technical training. While a variety of degree choices are available at every school, each institution has several specialties, some of which are recognized worldwide.
Increasing the quality of our workforce encourages new businesses to locate in Indiana. College graduates hold a competitive advantage in the labor market. They make more money in their lifetime, and as a group they experience higher employment rates.
1/3 of Indiana citizens between the ages of 18 and 24 go to college. While this percentage is higher than in the past, it is still below the national average. Consequently, other states can offer a better educated workforce to attract business. The solution is to encourage more Hoosiers to go to college. We must provide access for all, with special emphasis on attracting minority and non-traditional students. Out of this class of high school students, only these will go to college. Many of the others will have the skills to further their education, and we must help them to take advantage of the opportunities.
But it's not enough just to encourage young people to continue their studies beyond high school. We must also do more to ensure they are successful in college. If their goal is an academic degree, we must ensure they have every opportunity to graduate.
Indiana has an investment in every student from the day he or she begins kindergarten. It is important that our students finish college because college graduates earn more money and contribute more to the state's economic stability. Of these college freshmen, only these will graduate with a degree. We must focus our efforts on retaining students and assuring the best possible opportunity for them in the job market.
Indiana's public institutions are at a severe disadvantage compared to our peers nationally and in neighboring states. It is difficult to retain and attract top-notch professors. Far too frequently, our faculty members leave us for higher salaries at other institutions. That has to stop if we hope to maintain high quality in our institutions.
The quality of higher education depends upon the quality of the teachers in the classroom. But there's a high demand for qualified professors in many fields and a shrinking pool of available talent. In the next 10 years, 70% of our current faculty will retire or leave Indiana. Our 7 institutions are competing with over 3,400 colleges and universities nationwide for the best talent. To maintain quality in the classroom, we must offer competitive salaries.
We also live in a global economy. With the opening of new markets in Eastern Europe, businesses need to be competitive on an international level. The only way Indiana can compete is to provide graduates with the skills needed in the world marketplace.
The world is becoming a smaller place, and Indiana businesses must look outside our borders to overseas markets. Our state currently trades with every country in the world, and the volume of trading will continue to increase in the future, accounting for a substantial change in business strategies. Higher education is the key to preparing Hoosiers to compete in a global economy.
During the last 20 years, the national economy has changed from one based on heavy manufacturing to service industries. That has hit Indiana hard. Higher education is the way to provide the educated workers who will attract new industries and enable our current industries to remain in Indiana.
Jobs requiring training beyond high school are on the rise. It's important that higher education look to the future and prepare workers today for jobs tomorrow. We must have the facilities and the people to teach students how to use technology. The only way business and industry can succeed in the future is if higher education provides the skilled employees. Indiana is blessed with a strong system of higher education. Currently, Hoosiers need not look outside the state to find a quality school to fit their needs. But there are changing trends and growing problems which we must address now to ensure success in the future. Our 7 public institutions are united in calling for a commitment to quality. The system of higher education we have today was charted 20 years ago. The question now is what kind of university these Hoosiers will attend. The choice is up to us.
We're just ending up the intermission here in Game 1 at the tip-off tournament here at IPFW in Fort Wayne. 2 teams playing in Game 1 are Indiana Tech, and they're leading 42, and St. Francis College has 40. I'm Randy Yoder, and with me is the Sports Information Director at St. Francis College, Tony Davis. Tony's got some halftime report for you as far as team stats and stuff, and I'll let him do this for you right now, and then we'll get right to the game.
Well, okay, Randy, when we came off from the first half, we ran down the players. So the total fouls for Indiana Tech today at 13. St. Francis had 7. There were 7 assists for Indiana Tech and 4 for St. Francis College. There was 1 block, Indiana Tech, and Indiana Tech had 8 turnovers, 5 steals. St. Francis 11 turnovers and 3 steals. Leading rebounders in the game, Wilder and Carroll. Wilder had 9 and Carroll had 5. Clapter and Bowen lead Jim Holstein's Cougar with 6 and 5.
Tony, I think you'll agree with me. The telling statistic of this game is St. Francis College shot 23 foul shots to Indiana Tech 6. St. Francis made 16 of them, and that's what's kept them in this ball game. To start off the second half, St. Francis will have the ball. John Tudor is starting along with Dan Klaffner. Number 15 is Mike Bowen. Number 31 is Dan Kowicki. And number 25 is Brett Norris. On defense for Indiana Tech, number 20, Klaus. 22, Rutland. Number 44 is Tim Hose. And we'll get the rest to you here in just a second. Klaus steals the ball. Long pass down court. Thrown over the head and out of bounds. Turnover. St. Francis takes the ball back. The other two players are in for Indiana Tech start the half. Victor Bush, number 42, and Rex Carroll, number 33. St. Francis has the ball, brings it up. Half-court pressure by Indiana Tech. If you're just joining us here in the second half, Indiana Tech has a 2-point lead. It's 42-40 over St. Francis College Cougars. And we're about 30 seconds into the half. Brett Norris with a bank shot, a little short, gets his own rebound, takes it up, follows, good, ties the game. Brett Norris with his 12th point of the ball game. And Indiana Tech. St. Francis still the man-to-man, almost a steal by Maheron. And he's pleading his case to the official, but Maheron's called for the foul. He thought he had the block.
Randy, that's number 20, John Tudor.
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the wrong one. I apologize. You do your homework and you know these guys. I'm still excited about the commitment to education video. The one thing they said about giving college teachers more money. As a professor, I'm all for that. I heard that.
Absolutely.
Rex Carroll's at the line, shooting two. First one short. Doesn't surprise me, Tony. Indiana Tech, that shot short, Indiana Tech has not been to the line very much tonight.
And Jim Holstein has to be pleased with the way his Cougars have defended.
Second one hits the front of the rim and kicks over, so he splits the pair. Puts Indiana Tech back on top, 43-42. Mike Bowen feeds off to John Tudor, who's on the wing. St. Francis in the offense against a man-to-man by Indiana Tech. Both teams have played Indiana Tech. That makes sense. Both teams have been in the man-to-man. St. Francis turns it over. Norris picks up the loose ball. Looks like a rugby scrub down there. And the foul is called on number 44 for Indiana Tech, Tim Hose. And that's Hose's third. And that's the first player in this game that's in foul trouble. Hose, a 6'6 senior, plays center. He's from Canal Fulton, Ohio. And St. Francis Keys in the from underneath the hoop, working around the perimeter, looking for the inside shot. A little long there by Kalwicki. Indiana Tech on the fast break. Pass across court. Number 22 takes the long shot and hits it. And that was a two. That was not a three. His foot was on the line. Just a long two, about an 18-foot two. St. Francis tries the back door. It's knocked away by number 44 and recovered by Mike Bowen. St. Francis still has the ball. Setting up their offense again. 45-42, Indiana Tech leads, 18 minutes to go in the second half. It's been a close game the whole way. The biggest lead was a 6-point lead by Indiana Tech. Morris fakes, good recovery, and he still lost the ball. Turnover by Clafter. Teams look a little ragged here in the beginning of the second half, Tony. Another moonshot by 33. Rex Carroll, long on the iron. Rebound to Indiana Tech. And boy, that guy just took a suitcase and went to Kokomo on that one. That was some big steps.
Victor Bush.
St. Francis will get the ball out of bounds underneath Indiana Tech's basket. We're here at Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, the Athletic Center. This is game one of the tip-off tournament. It's the first game for Indiana Tech. This is the third game of the season for St. Francis College. Both teams are members of the NAIA. And there's a pass blocked. Wiki has the block and a foul called
Mike Bowen.
On Mike Bowen. That's number two. Number 2 on the sophomore guard. He's a secondary education major at St. Francis College. He's originally from Ohio City, Ohio, went to Crestview High School. Indiana Tech will take the ball out of bounds on the near side of the floor at the timeline. Throws it back to the point guard and general this offense for Indiana Tech, number 20 Matt Klaus. Thank you, Tony. I can't make a mistake with you here. Of course, I might have made a mistake coming with you here in the first place. Short, St. Francis tips the ball, plays a little volleyball with it. The rebound controlled by Clafner. Kalicki up the floor, gives it to Norris, drives the baseline, blocked from behind, gets on rebound, goes up and around. And that block hurt them. It's a good block, but Norris on the rebound takes it up, has a chance to make a three-point play. I think the foul
14 for Brett.
Foul was on Matt Klaus, and that's his third personal. 2 players now for Indiana Tech with 3
I think you might
fouls.
look for St. Francis.
Just a long 2, about an 18-foot 2. St. Francis tries the back door. It's knocked away by number 44 and recovered by Mike Bowen. St. Francis still has the ball, setting up their offense again. 45-42, Indiana Tech leads, 18 minutes to go in the second half. It's been a close game the whole way. The biggest lead was a 6-point lead by Indiana Tech. Morris fakes, good recovery, and he still lost the ball. Turnover by Clafter. Teams look a little ragged here in the beginning of the second half, Tony. Another moon shot by 33. Rex Carroll long on the iron. Rebound to Indiana Tech. And boy, that guy just took a suitcase and went to Kokomo on that one. Those some big steps.
Victor Bush.
So St. Francis will get the ball out of bounds underneath Indiana Tech's basket. We're here at Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, the Athletic Center. This is game 1 of the tip-off tournament. It's the first game for Indiana Tech. This is the 3rd game of the season for St. Francis College. Both teams are members of the NAIA. And there's a pass blocked. Wicki has the block and a foul called
Mike Bowen.
On Mike Bowen. That's number
2.
Number 2 on the sophomore guard. He's a secondary education major at St. Francis College. He's originally from Ohio City, Ohio, went to Crestview High School. Indiana Tech will take the ball out of bounds on the near side of the floor at the timeline. Throws it back to the point guard and general this offense for Indiana Tech, number 20, number 20, Matt Klaus. Thank you, Tony. I can't make a mistake with you here. Of course, I might have made a mistake coming with you here in the first place. Short, St. Francis tips the ball, plays a little volleyball with it. The rebound controlled by Clafner. Kowicki up the floor, gives it to Norris, drives the baseline, blocked from behind, gets his own rebound, goes up and around, and that block hurt them. It's a good block, but Norris on the rebound, takes it up, has a chance to make a three-point play. I think the foul
14 for Brett.
Foul was on Matt Klaus, and that's his third personal. 2 players now for Indiana Tech with 3
I think you might
fouls.
look for St. Francis to press if Norris makes this basket, Randy.
Well, if Norris makes it, this will tie the game. And this first time St. Francis has been tied since about 5 minutes to go in the game. Norris cans it, converts the three-point play, ties the game at 45-45 with 17 minutes to go in the second half. Looks like we're going to have a good game come down the end here, Tone. Both teams are doing pretty well what they want. There's a steal by Tudor. He's all by himself. Gets a layup, easy, Bunny. Look, Chippy. And St. Francis takes lead for the first time since
and that's
the
his first
half.
2.
47-45 now in favor of the Cougars.
And John Tudor worked real hard to get this start. This is the first start in his college career, Randy.
Rick Rutland dribbling around for a while, a little shake and bake, goes up for about 10-footer off the front of the iron. Rebound by 42. Cans it, number 42, Victor Bush.
Victor Bush.
Ties the game at 47. St. Francis comes down. Intensity's picked up now. The first couple minutes kind of ragged. Now both teams looking at. There's a 3-shot. Moonshot for 3.
And Kowicki.
That's the first 3-pointer St. Francis attempted tonight, and they've hit it. And that puts them up by 3, 50-47. The Cougars are ahead of the Warriors. Feed down low, 44, takes it up and in, and fouled. Dan Clafner fouls Tim Hose.
That's 2 fouls on Clafner.
St. Francis is not in foul trouble yet. There are 2 team fouls on both teams, so we're doing pretty well in the foul department. Where in the first half, St. Francis really had the advantage.
Hose was a 57% free throw shooter last year, Randy.
Well, we'll see how he does tonight. Is this first time line for him tonight? Mm-hmm. Well, he looked like a 100% shooter on that one. And he makes it. It ties the game again at 50. Zone press. Zone trap by Indiana Tech. 3 guys around Brett Norris, and of course there's a foul, and it wasn't on Norris. Number 42 reaching in, Victor Bush. He picks up his second foul. And St. Francis will take it out near side of the floor on their side of the timeline. Mike Bowen, sophomore guard from Ohio City, keys the offense. And St. Francis is back into their overload, their swing offense, working against a man-to-man. Drive by Kawicki, too hard off the glass, gets his own rebound, fake and blocked. He got a little leather lunch on that one, but St. Francis controls the block. Norris sets up the offense. They're overloading now to the left side. Kawicki again, back to Norris from top of the key for three. Oh, off the front of the iron. St. Francis, good offensive rebound. Score, John Tudor.
That's 4 for Tudor.
John Tudor with his second basket of the night. Puts St. Francis back in the lead by 2. 15:01 left in the game. Steal by St. Francis. There's a foul. No call. Norris was grabbed by the leg and couldn't get away. And he's limping. He's sore.
Looks like he's hurt.
And he's not happy at all. Well, they'd have thrown a yellow flag in football on that one. But what the heck, I guess it was just part of the action. Score, St. Francis College ahead 52, Indiana Tech 50. We're in the second half here at the tip-off tournament at IPFW. I'm Randy Yoder calling action his first game between St. Francis Indiana Tech, and I've got my partner here, Tony Davis, Sports Information Director for St. Francis College.
Certainly a pleasure to be here tonight, and we'd certainly like to thank all the good folks here at Channel 6 that made it possible for us. Bernie Lowmiller and the gang. I know you and Bernie are very close and work together on a lot of projects as you're the director of the communications program at St. Francis. Right?
Bernie's back at control room gagging right now after that one, Tony. That's a hooey there.
Big smile on Bernie's face.
Big smile. Well, we're trying to do it. I heard Bernie was desperate and he couldn't find anybody else to do this, so we got stuck with it. But we're glad we're here.
We're certainly pleased to be here tonight. It's certainly an opportunity for St. Francis College and Jim Holstein and all of his staff and all of us at St. Francis appreciate it.
Hey, it beats working for a living.
Certainly does.
Okay, Indiana Tech's going to take the ball out of bounds in their half of the court. They're down by 2. St. Francis is in a man-to-man, number 42 right now. Victor Bush has the ball, gets it back to the playmaker for Indiana Tech, Matt Klaus. Number 20 bangs the ball around, looking for the low post again. They're trying to work off those low post picks. That's been the offense all night, and St. Francis has been giving up the baseline. There's a steal, good hands by Tudor, takes it down, 2-on-1, takes it in the hallway. There's a offensive foul. He called a foul. Yeah, it was. John was out of control. No doubt about that.
Tudor.
And he's the first player for St. Francis College being foul trouble. He should have given that ball up earlier, Tony. They had a 2-on-1 with a trailer, and they didn't split it wide enough, and then John got beyond the point of no return, and he couldn't control himself.
One of the concerns that Jim Holstein has is that his team will. He said to me this afternoon he wanted to get the right combination in there and keep them together if the foul trouble, he can hold down on foul trouble. We'll see how long he goes with Tudor.
Well, John should have pulled up and taken the jump shot there, but he wanted to take it in, maybe draw the foul. He just one dribble too many. So Indiana Tech has the ball. It's 52-50. St. Francis Cougars in the lead. 14.5 in the second half. There's another baseline drive, cut off. Knocked out of bounds by Tudor.
Good defense.
Rex Carroll made the drive to the baseline. And Indiana Tech's going to do that the rest of the night.
I think you can look for some interesting matchups with Bowen and Rutland, Tudor and Carroll.
Well, that was a good move there. Somebody left their laundry up in the rafters, so that happens. Good fake, easy bucket, ties the game at 52. Dan Kawicki on the baseline. Has nowhere to go. Working around the right side. Underneath, Kawicki again. Needs to square his feet up. He's going to make that shot. His feet look like a pretzel there. They're not going to drop that way. Got to square it up. Indiana Tech on the rebound. Passes low to Hose. Hook shot. Little jump hook. Little short. Kawicki on the rebound. Feeds it out to Bowen, who brings it up the floor. And Indiana Tech gets back. It looked like for a minute there we had a break, but no, didn't work. Norris out on the wing. He's outside the three-point line.
Offense.
Well, they're looking down underneath. Boy, he camped out down there. That's about 6 seconds, and he gets it anyway. That's one thing I've noticed about basketball in the last how many years, Tony? Well, you can camp out in that lane. 3 seconds is a lost start.
6 points for John Tudor, all in the second half.
Indiana Tech working down low. Lost control. Never do that. Okay, here he goes. Norris one-on-one, takes it in. Follow-up, Kowicki. Good shot. Norris was out of control. Put it up. Kowicki trails. Good communication there between those two. I don't know if Brett knew he was around, but he knew. Timeout, Indiana Tech. There's a timeout now. There's 12:43 left in the second half. St. Francis has taken a 4-point lead. 56, Indiana Tech, 52.
Well, Randy, I'm sure that Coach Dan Klein right now is telling his guys to get organized. He's going to tell them to get on the boards and start moving the ball.
Well, just stay tuned for game 2. Right after this game, Huntington College will play the Indiana-Purdue-Fort Wayne Mastodons in game 2 of the tip-off tournament, opening the season for IPFW. I'm not sure if Huntington's played any games yet this year.
I don't believe they have, Randy. I'm not absolutely sure, but
it's rare to hear for this tournament or for this time of the season that St. Francis College, at least is the experienced team of the 4. They've got 2 games under their belt. I don't know if 2 losses can be considered experience, but they're looking a little better tonight. St. Francis was down by 2 at halftime, 42-40, and they've now climbed out to a 4-point lead, and Indiana Tech has the ball. Been pretty good game so far.
Substitutions in, and now in its centers, number 34, John Miller, and also number 44, Todd Galloway will be at the forward.
That's for St. Francis, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. We'll update you on Indiana Tech here in a second. Well, Indiana's really taken a long shot, no good. Long rebound, 42, forces it up and in. Offensive foul. Offensive foul. I'll say one thing for Indiana.
Bush's 4th.
Both of these teams are aggressive on the boards. They're mixing it up down underneath. I think Indiana Tech's a little more out of control than St. Francis.
I think so, and again, I think Jim Holstein is probably going to really start to try to execute that offense. Try to control the tempo. We'll see how it goes here the second half. But 4 touches. Let's see what happens this time down, Randy.
Well, there's 3. There's 4. So they've done what Holstein wants them to do. Working it around. They've overloaded. They're in their swing offense. It's man-to-man. No. Check that. Indiana Tech has gone to a 2-3 zone. This is the first time we've seen it. And the ball goes out of bounds to Indiana Tech. St. Francis College has had trouble in their first 2 games against the zone. Their zone offense is not good, and I know Indiana Tech's got the advantage of seeing those 2 games, or at least having them scouted, and they know that they're rough against the zone, so they've gone to the 3-2. St. Francis is still in a man-to-man. Matt Klaus for Indiana Tech, number 20, handling the ball like he always does, working the offense, looking for the baseline, working the big man in the middle. He dribbles off one of St. Francis's foot. Fumble recovered by Indiana Tech. The ball goes to Indiana Tech, out of bounds underneath.
But it's good to see the guys out there hustling on the floor and all diving for the ball. There's a lot of hustle out there tonight, Randy.
Yeah, the referee's doing a good job taking care of the housekeeping here. Now somebody has to do it. I can send you down there, but you'd probably want to play. Indiana Tech down by 4. It's 56-52. St. Francis lead. Drive the baseline.
Steal by
Norris. Wild pass. Oh, 1-on-4. That's what we like to see. And they still made it work.
Miller. That's his first 2 for the night, Randy.
Well, that's the way I like to see the fast break run. 2-on-4. But it worked. That's good. St. Francis with a 6-point lead. There's a little touch foul underneath. Called on on John Miller for St. Francis. Number 34, John Miller, called for the foul. Reaching in, he fouled Scott Wilder. Well, team fouls are pretty even right now. St. Francis has 5. Indiana Tech has 4. Indiana Tech next 2 fouls will go to bonus. And they key the ball into Rex Carroll, senior, from Naples, Florida, for Indiana Tech. Setting the offense up top, still a strong man-to-man. There's a little 12-footer, long off the iron. Good rebound by Mike Bowen. And there's a riding the hip foul. You know, Tony, I've noticed that most quick teams, they know they're quick, and rather than get back and play defense with their feet and use their quickness, they try and do a lot of reaching and stuff. And Indiana Tech's done that here in the second half and been called for fouls. That's what helped St. Francis in the first half. And if they do that again, St. Francis is going to go to the line and have a nice day.
We have a substitution for St. Francis. Number 3, Mike Reinbold in for John Tudor.
Norris keys the ball in to Bowen, sets up the offense. They overlie the far side of the floor. Swing it back around. Silly pass by Norris. Stolen, shot missed. Second shot rebound, good. Rex Carroll with the 2 points.
Let's see if they go back to that control offense from Holstein.
And that closes the lead to 4. St. Francis up by 4. They had a chance to make it to 8, and they blew it. They got lazy. That's one thing, Tony, I've noticed about Brett Norris. He's a good player. He's a heady ball player, but he takes things for granted once in a while, like that last pass, and doesn't pay attention because he just thinks it's going to happen. I think he's got that much confidence in himself that he doesn't think that he can fail.
St. Francis bringing Kowicki back in there for Galloway, and also Larry Land, the freshman who had a very good first half. He had 5 points in the first half, and Dan Clafter will be back in there replacing John Miller.
10 minutes to go in this game. This is game 1 at the tip-off tournament here at IPFW. I'm Randy Yoder, joined with Tony Davis, Sports Information Director of St. Francis. Glad you're with us. It's been a good game. St. Francis College up by 4, 58-54. They have the ball. Neither team in foul trouble. And that ball slapped out of bounds by number 24, quick hands, Eric Ellis for Indiana Tech. Brett Norris key the ball to the side, throws the ball into Dan Clafner. Gets it back to Mike Reinbold. Haven't seen much of him in the game today. He's out there on top and fouled by Jason Klein.
That's 3 on Klein.
And that was a touch foul, Tony. Both guys were just kind of playing a little handsy patty cake thing there, and the referee's going to call on the defense every time unless the offense hauls up and takes his teeth out with an elbow.
That's 16 fouls now on Indiana Tech here in the second half.
And that's a lot better than they had about that many fouls last time. And St. Francis' next foul will be in the bonus. So Indiana Tech's run out of freebies.
Starting to double team too.
Well, they're running a zone trap. They're having the guards try and trap out in the front, so they can't make the pass underneath, and that's what St. Francis has been doing all night. Kowicki drives in, throws up a prayer. God wasn't home with that one. And
I'm sure Jim Holstein is going to talk to him.
And there's a drive by Klaus. Feeds it back to Eric Ellis, who misses the ball, misses everything, no layup. And St. Francis is having some trouble against this pressure defense by Indiana Tech. They have control now. Back out to Reinbold. He's in for guard. He's a junior, 6'2", 175 pounds, from North Judson High School here in Indiana, North Judson, Indiana. Norris keys it to the baseline. Long shot. And a blocking foul underneath called on Matt Klaus. And now check that on 45, Scott Wilder. That's his 3rd foul. Wilder's from Woodburn, Indiana. He's a senior, plays center. He's 6'9", and he looks all of 6'9". He's a horse, no doubt about it.
And Dan Clafter's at the free throw line. He's the first real big man Jim Holstein's had in the last 4 or 5 years at St. Francis. So the Cougars are glad to have it.
And he misses the first end of the front end of 1-1. St. Francis now in the bonus, and that hooked them in the first half. And they were still behind in all the foul shots they made in the first half. They've had the lead now, and that can help them even more now. Norris with the rebound. Nobody around to help him. Didn't use his dribble. Throws it to Reinbold, who plays soccer. And then he kicks it around a little bit. He's out of control. 3-on-1, 3-on-2 now. Off the glass and in. 5-footer by Eric Ellis. Reinbold a little out of control here. St. Francis now up by 2. It's 58-56, St. Francis. 8 minutes and a half left in the game. Reinbold looking for help.
You might see.
Step through the double team. And the referee calls a foul on Scott Wilder. That should be his.
That's his 4th, Randy. And you might see Jim Holstein take a time out here with the Cougars and try to calm them down with this pressure defense. We have substitution for St. Francis. Number 20, John Tudor's back in there for the freshman, Larry Land. And again, probably what St. Francis is looking for is a little more experience as they run down the home stretch. This is about the point in the game against Indiana Wesleyan. I think there was like 5 minutes to go, and Indiana Wesleyan was behind by 4 points, and they ended up winning by 14 or 16 Tuesday night. So I think Holstein's looking to try to get some experience in there right now, Randy.
Well, Mike Reinbold's on the line, 6'2" junior from North Judson. Taking 1-1, he hits the first one. I hope for Holstein's sake that the experience of Mike Reinbold at the foul line will help him, but Mike, being the junior, has been really out of control in handling the ball coming up the floor. Mike Bowen was sophomore, has been doing a little better ball handling, but we'll see. Mike just might have the jitters. He hasn't been in the game much.
It's 2 for Reinbold tonight.
And
Mike Bowen is back in the ball game, just as you said, Randy.
And who's on the bench? Yeah, Mike went down. They'll have a little talk with him. They had to give Bowen a blow, so they did. St. Francis now up by 4, 60-56. A little less than 8.5 minutes to go in this game. And Indiana Tech on offense. Takes it down low. Well, those big men, if they want to make those little turnarounds, they got to square those feet up. Never going to make it. Tim Hose didn't even draw iron with that. He didn't even draw a glass of water. Good penetration. 16
for Norris.
Brett Norris, leading scorer for St. Francis College, hits his season average. If I remember correctly.
You're absolutely right.
Well, he's a half point short, but we'll give it to him. Left-handed drive, and off the back of the iron. Eric Ellis taking, I think, Kowicki. Did he take Kowicki to the...
Kowicki.
Took Kowicki there. Ellis got the first step. Ellis is a right-hander, but he handled that ball fairly well on the left-handed drive. And that's Kowicki's second foul. The next foul, Indiana Tech will be in the bonus. This foul, this is 2-shot foul on this one, shooting foul.
Coach Dan Klein's going to give Matt Klaus a rest for the home stretch run.
I checked that. It's not a shooting foul. They said he was fouled before he got the shot off, so they just took it out on the side. Good move. Nice layup. Blown. He couldn't believe he was that wide open. Who blew that? 44? Tim Hose missed that layup. It's easy for me to say up here, you know. Feet underneath, takes it up. Oh, good hand there, slapped it loose. And a follow-up by Clafter. That's what you pay the big men the contracts for. Clean up the garbage. St. Francis is now a 8-point lead. That's the biggest lead of the ball game for St. Francis. And that matches the biggest lead by Indiana Tech in the first half. Timeout by Indiana Tech with the score. St. Francis College is leading 64 over Indiana Tech 56. So I'd like to remind you, if you'd like to receive a free Channel 6 program guide, you can send your name, address, and zip code to the College Cable Access Center at IPFW. That's Fort Wayne, Indiana, 46805. And your 4-digit code there is 1499. Or give us a call at 481-6582. Ask for Bernie. He'll give you anything you need.
Absolutely. Well, Dan Klein is probably saying to his Warriors right now, you're going to have to pick up the tempo. He's probably going to get into more of a pressing type defense. Jim Holstein, again, is probably saying to his people, all right, now we've got to get some ball control here. What Dan Klein, what Jim Holstein called a ball-oriented defense. So I think you're going to see them trapping in the corners, and they're going to use that trap, Randy.
Okay, Indiana Tech called that timeout. I think they've got about 3 left now. They've called 1 in the first half. The score, St. Francis College, 64. Indiana Tech, 56. There's 7:15 left in the second half of Game 1 at the tip-off tournament here at IPFW. And I'm Randy Yoder, and I'm calling the game with my partner, Tony Davis. Hope you're enjoying the game as much as we are. It's been a pretty good game so far. Jason Klein passes to Eric Ellis, who dumps it into nowhere, and St. Francis scoops up the freebie. Let it take the charity, come down the floor.
Looking to
wide
run.
Open to yes, and a foul, Tim Hose picks up his, what is that, his fourth foul. That's 2 players now. They have 4 fouls. For Indiana Tech, their big men are in foul trouble. Tim Hose, 44, has 4, and so does Scott Wilder, number 45. And Wilder is not on the floor right now. They put him on the pine.
I think this is a coming out for the freshman, Larry Land. Jim Holstein was real worried about Larry at the as the season began, but I think this game is a real coming out for Larry.
Don't forget who gave him the assist on that one. That assist, I think, was delivered by John Tudor, if I remember.
That's correct.
Number 20, and a nice bounce pass through the middle. They convert on the three-point play, and St. Francis College has an 11-point lead. This is the first double-digit lead of the game. St. Francis College has outscored Indiana Tech 27-14 in this second half, and leading to score 67-56. 22 drives through, throws up a hope and a prayer, and God answers. Rick Rutland with two.
Richard Rutland.
Is it Richard or Rick? I'm not sure which.
Richard.
Just Richard? Okay.
Let's see if they go back to that touch offense now. That'll be the key. There's 3 touches.
Okay.
Into Kwiecki.
Back out. Kwiecki on the wing. Kicks it back to John Tudor. See Brett Norris back in the game. Kwiecki turns. Oh, and in. Yes, nice touch. Now, see, that's what I mean. That time Kwiecki squared his feet, and he got the roll. And there's a foul trying for the offensive charge there was Kwiecki. He did not get it. He didn't give the guy time to come down. So number 24, Eric Ellis, will go to the foul line. Well, this was better for Indiana Tech in this second half than the first half. This is the earliest they got into the 1-and-1 situation. They're now in the bonus with 6:11 to go in the second half. They didn't get in the bonus in the first half until about a minute and a half left in the half.
Well, and after 10 fouls, too, Randy, what we're going to see is we're going to see 2 shots.
Well, right now, if you looked at the game and tried to summarize it at this point, you look at the free throw situation, and St. Francis College in the first half went to the line 17 more times than Indiana Tech, and in this half, it's been fairly close, although I think St. Francis has been there a little more because they've been getting shooting fouls. They've been shooting and they get fouled on the shot. And I think that's due to Indiana Tech's doing a lot of reaching.
I think they're, and again, they may have come out just a little flat. This is number 24, Eric Ellis. He's a 6'3" junior.
And he hits the first end of the 1-and-1. That's his first time at the line tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay, so 1 for 1. I'll have to check it later. It might be wrong. Hits the second one. That one's long off the back of the iron. St. Francis College. Kwiecki tracks it down in a corner. Long rebound. Brings it out. Coming up the middle. Gives it back to Bowen, who sets the offense. They got the fast break, and the big man wanted to shoot the ball before we had it. He looked for that handle, and it wasn't there.
But Jim Holstein was pleased with that. That's what he wanted to do. He wanted to get it out and run if he could, and if he couldn't, he's going to slow it up and try to use that controlled offense. We still have a 10-point lead for the Cougars of St. Francis over the Warriors of Indiana Tech.
Dan Klaffner on that turnover. Klein brings the ball up. 10-point lead for St. Francis. 3-point shot. No, the referee says 2. Must have been on a line. It's long. Klaffner with the rebound. Or Kwiecki, I'm sorry. Pardon me. Oh, there's some dancing out there at the guards. No call. Everybody's totally out of control here. St. Francis, bad passes everywhere. And a foul. Eric Ellis picks up number 3. Well, St. Francis was very lucky to get that ball across the court.
Bowen was a little out of control, and as he just kind of pushed the pass to Brett Norris.
I'm noticing now St. Francis College knows they've got this 10-point lead. It's 69-59 with 5.5 minutes left in the game, and they're getting excited. They need to look where they're at, take a deep breath, and try and get the ball to hit the middle of the iron instead of the very front of it.
I think the important thing is that they have to go with what got them there. They have to play to win and not to lose.
That's true, and I'm sensing right now they might be getting into that mode of, oh my gosh, we're ahead here, what are we going to do?
And this is a real young team. Jim Holstein only has 2 juniors on this team, 3 juniors, Mike Reinbold and Brett Norris, and of course Dan Klaffner. The rest are sophomores and freshmen. They have no seniors. They lost a real good senior last year in Claire now.
And Kwiecki splits a pair, I'm sorry, Tony, and that gives St. Francis back to 11-point lead. Indiana Tech working the same offense against the man-to-man. Spin shot. Oh, what a tip shot. My gosh, Matt Klaus tips that in from over the back. Takes it back under double digits. 9-point lead now for St. Francis, and they set their offense up. They're working their offense. Indiana Tech is back in a man-to-man. And number 45, Scott Wilder, who just came back into the game, is now going to take a shower. If that's if that's on hip. Yes, it is.
He's out.
You know,
of there.
there's some theories that once you get your 4th foul, just leave the guy in there, because you sit him on the bench, he loses his momentum, he comes back in, picks up the 5th one, he's gone just like that.
Weiler
And in
had
that case,
12 points for
that
him.
scenario came out.
Played
Well,
a good game, though.
That plays to St. Francis' advantage. That's one big man for Indiana Tech on the pine. He's out of the game. 5 fouls.
They're going to be bringing
Scott
in
Wilder.
Rex Carroll.
Scott Wilder fouled out of the game. And Tony, how did he do?
Well, he had 12 points. He was played a good game on the boards. I think he had like 6 or 7 rebounds for him. So he had a good ball game. He's being replaced by Rex Carroll, number 33. Sacrificing quite a bit of height there. These free throws down the stretch are going to be real important to the Cougars.
Well, Klafner so far this season has shot he shot 73% from the field, and he's 0 for 2 tonight. There he hits one. He gets the second one of the bonus, or not the bonus, rather, the 2-shot foul. So it's a 10-point lead again, 71-61. 5 minutes to go in this game. St. Francis Cougars over the Indiana Tech Warriors. Matt Klaus working the offense, trying to drive in. Mike Bowen gets on the hip of number 24, Eric Ellis, takes a ride all the way in and gets fouled. That's an easy way to get down under. That's an easy way to get down under. Just sit on a guy's hip and let him carry you down. But
Bowen's
it's not
a real
good defense.
scrappy player, though. He's like he picked up 5 rebounds in the first half, and he's only 6'2".
Well, Indiana Tech, if they're going to make a move, they're going to have to make it here in the next 5 minutes. There's 5 left in the game, and they're down 10. Make that 9. As Ellis hits the front end of the 1-and-1. He can cut the lead to 8. 71-62. Cougars in front of the Warriors. He spins the ball, and nice high arcing shot, puts it right in there. 8-point lead now. Indiana Tech on the press. And there's another foul. Eric Ellis, 24 on the reach.
That's 4 on Ellis.
Tony, you get the feeling we're going to see St. Francis standing at the line the rest of the night?
I'd say that's a real good possibility, Randy.
Well, Indiana Tech, it's getting that point in the game, and they look like the kind of team, they're going to try and steal anything they can. They're going to reach, they're going to press, and when they get down here, they're going to launch those moonshots from outside that 19-foot line. And Kulwicki hits the front.
Sinks that one.
That's right, not Kulwicki, I checked that. Klafner hits the first end of the 1-and-1. 9-point lead now for St. Francis College, 72-63. Indiana Tech's the opponent. And remind you, stay tuned. Game 2 coming after that one. If you like this one, IPFW versus Huntington College. In
There's
game
another
2
one for Klafner.
of the tip-off tournament. 10-point lead again for St. Francis. Now ball knocked away, controlled by St. Francis. Klafner with the steal. And Indiana Tech is now trapping the ball everywhere. St. Francis must pass the ball and not pound it on the floor. They want to take some time off the clock, work the shot clock, but still take the open shots if they've got them. Kulwicki controls, gets it back to Bowen. They're working, driving the baseline. He's trapped down there, passes this little skip pass under the hoop. Norris he's short, he's off. Long rebound. Solo shot, 33, jammed it. Rex Carroll with another easy hoop. Give the assist to Klaus. 8-point lead, St. Francis College. And there's a foul on Klaus. Number 20. Number 20, Matt Klaus picks up his second foul.
Number 20, Matt Klaus.
It's his 4th foul. I'm sorry.
4th foul.
I didn't write that down right, Tony. I'll read your notes better next time.
I'll write them better next time, Randy.
Yeah, it's 2 is after 1, and you know that stuff. That's why you dropped that math class, wasn't it?
Absolutely it.
Well, but we're pretty.
Dan Kulwicki.
Okay. It's a 2-shot foul.
Big free throw.
Kulwicki reminds me of Bill Bradley back when he played with the Knicks, and that foul shot on Bradley's right-handed. He sticks that rear end out, gets that elbow way under, and it looks like the ball's not even going to get there. A nice high backspin, but it's a soft shot. Whee! Zoop! Right in there, no problem. 10-point lead for St. Francis College. Timeout. St. Francis College takes a timeout. The score, 10-point lead. St. Francis College Cougars 75. Indiana Tech Warriors 65. It's 3:58 left in this ball game. And Tony, why'd Coach Holstein take that timeout?
Coach Holstein right now is going to be talking to his players about controlling the offense. He's going to have to, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to touch the ball. They're going to have to get ready for that defense that Indiana Tech is going to throw at him. And it's kind of like if you're boxing Mike Tyson, you know the big punch is coming. It's just, are you going to get away from it? That's what he's trying to do. And you got to keep in mind that he does have a relatively young team out there with Kowicki and also Bowen being sophomores and the 3 juniors out there. So he's going to go with his experienced team right now. He's going to go with the team that he thinks can win. And on the other hand, Coach Dan Klein is saying to his team, you're going to have to press the ball. They're getting to the point to where they may have to start fouling. I think they've got probably a couple more minutes.
The reason St. Francis College is beating them right now is because of the foul trouble Indiana Tech's get in.
But I think they're going to get to the point where they're going to have to start fouling intentionally just to stop the clock and hope for the best.
Well, if they foul intentionally, they're going to lose they're not going to have anybody off the bench. But we'll see. There's 4 minutes left to go in this game. 10-point lead by the Cougars. And Indiana Tech's bringing the ball up. Klaus sets the offense. Gets a pick from Rex Carroll. There's a shot. It's short. Long rebound. It looks like it's off St. Francis College. Yes, Indiana Tech will control the ball. They get a new 45-second clock. But right now, time is not one thing Indiana Tech can afford to spend a lot of. They need to get some shots up. And there's a long feed in there, 24. Ooh, there's a little right-handed scoop off the glass. Eric Ellis with 2. 8-point lead now for St. Francis College.
And you're going to see the pressure all over the court.
Zone press. You've got to come to the ball, St. Francis. There's a block from behind, and they call the foul. John Tudor called for
That's
over
4
the
on
back.
Tudor.
He's called for over the back, and he's not happy. Okay.
And Jim Holstein's going to go back to the freshman, Larry Land, and they probably will be going in for Tudor.
St. Francis College now,
He's going
Tony.
to spell Bowen.
Excuse me, Tony. St. Francis College is facing the zone trap. It's the airplane trap, the 1-2, 1-1, or whatever you want to call it. And what they've got to do is pass the ball and come to it. Brett Norris stood at half court and didn't come to the pass. He just stood there waiting for the ball to come to him. And as long as he does that, it gives the defense time to recover.
These are big free throws, and Carroll missed the first one.
And this is where Indiana Tech's going to have to come through if they're going to win this game. And there's a 0 for 2 there at the line, and that's not good. The big man does not want the ball. Got it stolen. 42 knocked it away. Victor Bush. There's a shot. No good. Knocked out of bounds. Should be Indiana Tech's ball, and it is.
3:18 to go. Regulation play. 75-67.
Right now, St. Francis College needs to get somebody to take control. They need guards to take control of this game. They want their ball in their hands, and they're not doing that. Still an 8-point lead. There's a kick off a leg. Indiana Tech controls. 3-point shot. Long rebound and controlled by Rex Carroll, who sets it up. A new clock. 3 minutes to go in this game. 8-point lead St. Francis. That ball almost drew some hoop. Long rebound again. Indiana Tech there. And they control the ball out of bounds off Brett Norris.
Jim Holstein up off the bench, shouting at his players.
St. Francis is getting a little shook.
Block
It's
out.
Close. Okay, Indiana Tech with the ball. 22, oh, he shot that like a board. And there's a foul. Matt Klaus caught that foul, and he's out of here. He's on the bench along with his teammate, Scott Wilder. That's the second Warrior to foul out of this ball game. And that's going to hurt Indiana Tech because he's their ball control guy. He's the guy that sets the offense and gets it going, and he's gone.
Matt Klaus leaves with 6 points tonight, Randy. And real good game as the floor general, as you earlier mentioned.
But his 5 fouls, Tony, typifies what Indiana Tech's been doing tonight. A lot of cheap reach fouls, slaps, especially from the guards, and that's got him in trouble. Jason Klein replaces Klaus, and Klein's
Jason
got
has
4
3 fouls
too.
himself.
Does he have 3?
Yes,
I thought
3
he had
fouls
4.
himself.
We'll find out. I think you're probably right. It's 3. And there's the front end of 1-1. Oh, it's a 2-shot foul.
No, these are 2-shot fouls. Yeah, the rule where they shoot two shots after 10 fouls. St. Francis has 9 fouls themselves, Randy. It's a big free throw for John Tudor.
Well, you learn something new every night. I wasn't aware of that. Is that an NAII or just college in general?
college in general.
Well, he splits the pair, and St. Francis College has a 9-point lead, 76-67, with less than 3 minutes to go in a game.
Rutland.
Moonshot for 3. Rick Rutland with 3, which closes the gap to 6 points. St. Francis College gets the ball to Brett Norris. That's who they want to have the ball. Zone trap by Indiana Tech. Feet underneath, and 2.
Larry Land.
Larry Land with a good assist from Brett Norris.
That's 10 for Land.
8-point game now, St. Francis College. That guy is out of control. No call. Could have gone anywhere. Long pass down, 31. Kowicki drives in, sets it up, turns, and makes the makes that layup.
Dan Kowicki.
Well, if they're going to give it to you, take it. Kowicki, 10-point lead.
10-point
Ivy
lead.
Tech, timeout.
Indiana Tech, timeout.
I'm sorry.
It's an exciting afternoon. It's an exciting game. 10-point lead for St. Francis Cougars.
I'm going to get letters from the alumni at Indiana Tech, aren't I?
You're going to get, going to get the hate mail from Indiana Tech,
No
Randy?
problem. There's so many Yoders in this state, they'll never know where to send them.
Send it to the Yoder at Indiana Ivy Tech, right?
That's the one.
I think something interesting, too, is that the preseason polls, as they came out, Indiana Wesleyan was rated number 4 in District 21, and St. Francis 14. The overall ratings, IUPUI was rated first with Taylor, then Hanover, Indiana Tech with 2 first-place votes. Then Franklin, IU Southeast, Tri-State, Marianne, Bethel, Grace College, IU South Bend, Oakland City, Purdue, Cal, St. Francis, Goshen, Manchester, Huntington, and Anderson College, followed by Indiana Wesleyan. I want to remind everyone also, Randy, that coming up tonight, the second half of this doubleheader, Huntington College taking on the Mastodons of IPFW. 2:07 to go in the game, and St. Francis with a 10-point lead.
Ivy Tech has the ball out in their half of the floor.
Indiana Tech, Randy.
Well, sue me. Indiana Tech. Boy, if I mispronounce St. Francis, I can lose my job, so I better watch that. Their 3-point shot, short. Rebound controlled by Indiana Tech. Eric Ellis gets the rebound. They set it up. 1:53 to go in the game. St. Francis 10-point lead. Easy layup for Ellis. St. Francis trying to beat the press. Norris brings the ball up the floor. Long pass, wide open, the big man. And blocked by Rex Carroll. Oh, my. And the lay-in. 6-point lead, Indiana coming back. St. Francis College draws the foul. Number 24, Eric Ellis, playing too tight a defense.
Hats off for Ellis.
And he's gone. Indiana Tech is in a lot of trouble now. St. Francis, their composure comes and goes. Dan Klaffner got 8 up by 33. Rex Carroll should have had the bunny.
Carroll, 6'3" senior from Fort Wayne. And as Jim Holstein told us earlier today, Carroll probably the best athlete on the Indiana Tech team. These are going to be 2 big free throws.
Excuse me, Tony. Right now, both of the 2 starting guards for Indiana Tech are on the bench with 5 fouls. Matt Klaus and Eric Ellis, both out of the game with 5. Brett Morris, the captain, not the captain of the team, but he's the floor general. Is he captain? Okay.
Yes, he is.
Brett Norris, the captain of the team, is and also the floor general. Hits the first of 2. Makes it back to a 7-point lead. And 8.
Second one's
St.
up.
Francis College is ahead, 82. Indiana Tech, 74. 1:26 to go. And I'll say Indiana Tech, Indiana Tech, Indiana Tech, and that makes up for the groups I made earlier. Indiana losing the ball. Recovered by Carroll.
Staying in that man-to-man.
18-footer off the side of the rim.
Rebound Land. Over to Norris.
And a foul.
That's on Rutland. I believe that's his 3rd. He's not in any kind of foul trouble. They need Rutland.
Tony, you're right. There's 1:09 to go in the game. 8-point lead by St. Francis. And every time St. Francis gets their hands on the ball, we're going to go to the foul line. This is when the game takes about 3 hours to finish with 1 minute to go. But that's, for you Cougar fans out there, that's good. For you Indiana Tech fans, you hope they miss. 1:09 to go now in this game 1. Right after this game, stay with us here at College Access Channel 6. We'll bring you the Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne Mastodons versus the Huntington College
Norris missed the first one. And again, Brett's shooting 66% from the line thus far this year. Second one's up and good.
Okay, well, Indiana Tech's going to be launching those moonshots, the three-pointers. They're down by 3 of those, 9 points, 83-74, St. Francis College. And they're going to probably look to Rex Carroll to help them out. There's a two-pointer. Carroll's the experience. He's a captain. He's a senior out there. They're going to look to him now, try and get back in this game. Norris gets it across timeline. That's good. Now they're going to work the clock, probably look for the foul. Passes it to Kowicki, drives the baseline, takes it in. He's blocked. Little short on that. Rebound by Klein. 7-point lead. There it is. Oh, that was a brick. Follow-up. Good. Check that. Tim Hose. 2 points.
Jim Holstein.
Timeout, St. Francis College. Timeout.
Call a timeout here with 28 seconds to go. Going to try to calm his young Cougars down.
83, St. Francis College. 78, Indiana Tech. 28 seconds to go. Both teams in the bonus. St. Francis will get 2 shots for every foul that's committed because Indiana Tech has 10 fouls on them. 1 more foul on St. Francis, and the situation will be the same for Indiana. I don't look for St. Francis to foul unless it's something stupid or just, something cheap. They don't think about it, just something silly.
Tim Holstein's down there drawing up a play right now on offense, and I'm sure he's going to try to spread it out and let Norris try to bring the ball down the court and put Norris on the line. He's their experienced player. He's their captain. He's the guy they look to when they're in the crunch. Leading them in scoring with 16.5 this year. Last year, honorable mention all district. So we'll see what happens here as St. Francis takes the ball out of bounds. Brett Norris will take the ball out of bounds, Randy.
Okay, St. Francis College has the ball out of bounds. The full court press. Brett takes it out, passes it to John Tudor.
Larry Land.
In a 3-man trap, and when you 3-man trap, what you can't tell these players is you've got them trapped. There's 3 men. Stand still, put your hands straight up in the air, and let the clock run out. But they got to reach. They were fouling. They get anxious. I think this is hurting Indiana Tech. This is their first ball game, Tony. They haven't played. St. Francis is finally starting to gel. St. Francis has lost 2 close games down the stretch by, on the fold. So this could be a turning point for them.
Important shot for Larry Land.
And that increases it to 6 points.
That's 11 for Land tonight. And like I said, I really think this young freshman is going to be something in years to come.
Okay, if Land hits this shot, it'll be a 7-point lead, and Indiana Tech will need a minimum of 3 possessions and they do. Indiana Tech now needs 3 possessions to get back in this game. They're down by 7, 85-78, Indiana Tech.
2 big free throws for Larry Land. 2 very big free throws.
No doubt about that. Pretty good for a freshman, right?
He's from Cincinnati, Ohio. That's Jim Holstein's home turf, as Jim Holstein, played basketball for Cincinnati's Bearcats and went on and played in the NBA.
For the Minneapolis Lakers.
The Minneapolis Lakers has 2 NBA championship rings. Holstein's won this. If he wins this tonight, it'll be his 404th victory. It'll be his 186th at St. Francis in his 14 years at St. Francis. Dan Klein has probably said to his team that you're going to have to get out there and take the 3-pointer, Randy. There's 23 seconds to go, 85-78. So that's what I look for, and I look for him to try to free up Carroll.
Okay, the last thing that St. Francis College wants to do now is foul. They're going to let them have the 2-pointer. They're going to defense against the 3. Just get a hand in the face. There's a 3. Good shot. Timeout. Rick Rutland, senior guard from Indianapolis, cans the 3. 15 seconds to go. 4-point lead for St. Francis College. 85-81. Coach Holstein now is going to tell his players, get the ball in bounds.
Randy, this is what college basketball is all about.
Oh, I hate that cliche.
I know, but it's a great one, isn't it? 15 seconds to go. Here you have a young St. Francis Cougar team struggling for their first win, and you've got a little bit more experienced Indiana Tech team, but they're opening up their season. And as we said earlier, we didn't know whether that was going to be a positive or a negative for Coach Dan Klein's Warriors. So far, it's not been very positive. We'll see if the experience will pull them out here in this last 15 seconds.
Well, Tony, we're going to find out. What St. Francis College wants to do right now is get the ball in bounds. They can't turn this ball over on the inbounds. All they've got to do with 15 seconds is just get the ball and cover it, and they're going to get fouled. And Indiana Tech's going to foul them as soon as they get the ball in. But the key is to get the ball across the out-of-bounds line and in a good guy's hand for St. Francis College. What Indiana Tech's going to do, try to deny the pass, and then immediately foul if they can't do that. Morris passes into the big man. Clafter's at it. He's getting beat up, and no foul called. There's the foul. Well, I guess that just goes to show you, Tony, if you're 6'9", 200-some pounds, you get the tar beat out of you. But if you're a little guy that's about 6'5", 150, they give you a break, you know.
You got 10 seconds.
And Indiana Tech did not foul the guy they wanted to foul.
Tim Hose is now out of the game, so that'll be the one. That's the fourth Indiana Tech player that's fouled out of the game this evening, Randy. 85-81. We have 10 seconds to go. And John Tudor, the junior,
St. Francis is not going to put anybody at the line for rebounding. Well, let's check that. Dan Klawicki's going to go under there. They're going to send Klafner to the other end of the floor to defense. St. Francis is back in prevent. They should have this game under control.
John Tudor has 7 points.
Barring a miracle.
They're all here in the second half. And these 2 free throws will be probably the 2 biggest free throws that he's shot in his career. He was a 93% shooter last year from the line, Randy. He's an excellent foul shooter.
This is not the guy that Indiana Tech wants on the line.
Takes a deep breath, pumps it up. It's in.
5-point leads, 86-81, St. Francis College. If he makes this one, barring a miracle, 2 possessions have to be given to Indiana Tech and get 2 3-pointers, and I don't think that's going to happen. And he missed it.
No good.
Which might be a blessing because the clock starts moving it up. 8-7. Here's the long one. 3-pointer off the rim. And this game is done.
That's it. St. Francis Cougars win their first game of the season, 86-81 over the Warriors of Indiana Tech.
Well, Tony, you get the statistics done for me, and we'll recap this. St. Francis College wins their first game of the season. They're now 2-1, 86. They advance to the championship game tomorrow, where they'll face the winner of the Indiana-Purdue-Fort Wayne Mastodons or Huntington College. That game follows immediately following this recap. Once again, a final score for this game, St. Francis College Cougars 86 and the Indiana Technical Warriors 81. We'll be back with a recap and some statistics from this game right after this promotional message from College Access Channel 6 here in Fort Wayne. Tony Davis, we just watched a really exciting ball game here in Game 1, the tip-off tournament, where the St. Francis College Cougars defeated the Indiana Technical Warriors by a score of 86-81. The second game tonight's tip-off classic is between Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Mastodons, and Huntington College. The winner of this game will play St. Francis College tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. The loser will play in the consolation game at 6 o'clock against Indiana Tech. What we saw tonight was the first win by St. Francis College. They're now 1-2 on the season. It was Indiana Tech's first game of the year. They fall to 0-1. Tony Davis, my partner and sports information director at St. Francis College, has a few statistics for you, and then we're going to wrap this up and get you on to the next game. Tony?
Okay, let's take a look at some of the scoring for Indiana Tech. First, Matt Klaus scored 6 points tonight. He fouled out of the ball game. Senior Rick Rutland came on in the second half and scored 14 points after having only 4 at halftime. Number 24, Eric Ellis, the junior, scored 13 points, and he also fouled out of the ball game. Number 33, Rex Carroll, the senior, scored 11 in both halves and for 22 points. Number 34, Mark McGraw, scored 2 points. Number 42, Victor Bush, scored 6 points. Number 44, Tim Hose, the academic All-American, had 5 points. Number 45, Scott Wilder, the 6'9 senior, had 12 points, and Jason Klein had 1 point. For the victorious St. Francis Cougars, Mike Reinbold played and picked up 2 points at the free throw line for Jim Holstein's Cougars. Brian Mason didn't play. Mike Bowen scored 2 points. John Tudor picked up 8 big points all in the second half. Sophomore Joe Maheron with a point. Dan Kowicki leads the Cougars with 26 points. And Larry Land, the freshman, came out with 12 points tonight, Randy, and he played an excellent game.
He sure did.
John Miller had 2 points. The leader, Brett Norris, 19 points for the Cougars. Todd Galloway saw some action. Jim Kozakiewicz didn't get in the game. And the big man, Dan Clafter, ended up with 13 points. So 86-81, St. Francis a winner over
Indiana Tech.
Indiana Tech. And Jim Holstein has to be pleased. It's a sweet win for the Cougars.
It's always good to get that first one, especially after losing a couple of close ones, and one they probably should have won. Well, Tony, the next game is between the Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, Mastodons, and the Huntington College Foresters. It took me the whole
Foresters,
game to find out,
all right.
but I got it.
All right.
Well, I've had a good time, Tony. It's
Randy,
nice
I've had a great time. This has been very enjoyable. We'd like to thank all the folks again at IPFW and Bernie Lohmiller and all the gang at Channel 6 that made it possible. So I'd like to say thank you, Randy. It's been fun, and on behalf of Athletic Director Jim Holstein, one of us will be here tomorrow night.
Yeah, you will. It all depends. If St. Francis is playing IPFW, you get the color, and I'm just going to watch the game.
Sounds fun.
For Tony Davis, this is Randy Yoder from Game 1 at the tip-off tourney, where St. Francis College Cougars defeated the Indiana Technical Warriors by a score of 86-81. Once again, this is Randy Yoder saying good night, and enjoy the second game with IPFW and Huntington College.